Hello, welcome back. It's the 10th of October and you're joining us back on our syndicate. Got down here about 8 o'clock this morning to a fairly empty car park, wasn't it?
Yeah,
we weren't particularly busy for a Saturday. There was 2 anglers on the riverbank where we are now and a couple of guys opposite. The guy that was in here, he was due to sort of leave at about 11 o'clock, 10, 11 o'clock, wasn't it?
About that.
So we got a barrows round, claimed this swim and you're in Graveyard. And while we were standing here watching the water, we've seen a few fish between here and Graveyard as well. So as soon as the guy vacated the swim and we got our bivvies up, just as it started raining as well, Kieran got set up just before me because the guy was still in the peg. Yeah, so we got all our stuff set up and we had to go and do a food shop because we didn't bring any food with us. Went to Tesco's and
had a cheeky fry up,
which was, yeah, mega.
Nice.
It was nice to not be in a rush to get down, get our rods out. We've took it pretty slow, and the fish that we saw this morning, we didn't really want to get down here, start spomming, marking out and stuff, and scare anything away that was here. So
just rest the swim, innit?
Yeah, so we got back down here about midday, found a few spots and got some bait out. Made the most of the break in the weather because it's been pissing down for most of the day, really. And yeah, that brings us up to pretty much now, doesn't it?
Pretty much, mate. It's starting to rain now as well.
Yeah.
Looks of things.
So it's now, I think it's just gone 5 o'clock. If anything happens, yeah, we'll keep you updated. If not, we'll probably see you first thing in the morning. Right, quick update. It's now about 2 o'clock in the afternoon and we're not in the same pegs as we were last time you saw us. So it got to about 9 o'clock this morning, had some sausage and bacon rolls and just sat there watching the water. And yeah, there wasn't really anything showing in our area. So the fish that we had seen last night, they were showing like hell last night and they were all kind of the other side of the bar to us from where we were fishing. There's a bar running right down the centre of the lake. And yeah, the fish, like I said, they were showing this side of it. And there was a guy in the peg that I'm in now, he was leaving today about 11, 12 o'clock. And there was a guy in bench where I had that 2.440 a few weeks back, or in the last video. If you haven't seen it, I'll put a link up the top now. Yeah, like I said, he was leaving out of bench and yeah, we're up for a move basically. So got all packed up, got all our gear around here, and it's now, yeah, like I said, about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Everything's set up, haven't got the rods out yet, but I found a few little spots. Kieran's told me about a little spot down to the right margin. It's 11.5 wraps out, tight to the sort of the overhanging trees. A bit of a tricky cast, you have to kind of flick it over the top of some trees and then bring the rod out so your line doesn't go in the trees. Wind's pushing in here lovely now. Wind swung around this morning and I think we've got a wind, or the same wind, for the next kind of 24 hours. So yeah, it's looking good. I think Kieran's now getting some bait out. I'm not sure if he's got his rods out yet, but he said he's going to get everything sorted and then pop round and we'll do another update in a bit. But yeah, I better get the rods out. So I'll catch you in a little while. All right, good afternoon. It's just gone 5 o'clock. Rods are all out now. All 3 of mine are out. Kieran's obviously still yet to get his rods out. But we just had dinner. I'm just going to have a couple of beers and then you'll probably head back to your peg about 6. I think it gets dark about 6:30, doesn't it? Yeah. So yeah, I think there's not really much to update. We just heard one, like just before I got the camera rolling, one bellied out over there somewhere. I don't actually know whereabouts it was, but sounded your way. Probably, yeah, where you put that bait out earlier. Probably going to be the last update that we do tonight. But yeah, to give you a sort of a bit of an update of Kieran's fishing, he's had quite a few fish, haven't you, recently?
Yeah, ain't done too bad. From our last session, I think I had a repeat catcher of the 2-tone zipline. And then my next session I come down here, I jumped in plateau. I had one of the front fish, which was a beautiful fish, nice scaly 34 pounder. I then had another night ahead of me, so I jumped next door into Point. Didn't have nothing through the night, there was showing out there, and then 7 o'clock in the morning I had a run. Felt big fish at first, I know they all do. Got to just before the net and the hook pulled, absolutely gutted, wounded. And then I had to be off at 12. And then you always have a rod that you want to get in first, don't you? So I had 2 on the bar. One just showed out there, David. Yeah. Wasps' water. It's come right out of the water. So yeah, you always have a rod that you want to get in first. And I had 2 like in 4 foot of water on top of a bar, and then 1 in deeper water. And that was 2 minutes before I had to pack up and get the first rod in. And believe it or not, it was the rod that was in the deeper water that went. Screamed off. And I was playing out, felt a massive fish. And turned out it was Stella, 47 pounds and in ounces, I think it was. Which for me was another PB, so absolutely buzzing. 47 pounder under the belt. And then the next session, I think I come down here and I jumped in Andy's, which is where David is now. And I think I had an upper double just below 20. And then I had another absolute banger, 36 pounds in ounces. I can't remember the exact weight, but absolutely beautiful fish, proper made up. My next session after that, I think I jumped in bench where I currently am now. I had 2 nights in bench, and then didn't have nothing through the night. And then the next morning, or late morning should I say, I had a screamer, playing a fish, and believe it or not, it was the big ghosty for me. But, there's a rule on here at the moment: if you catch the big ghosty, you've got to drop your net and let it swim away, because it was at the time it's going through a little bit of distress. Only comes out once or twice a year, and since the season started, it's come out quite a few times. So it's a good rule, really. Sink the net and just let it do its business. But a bit guttering really, because it is a fish I've been after. It's an upper 40. I think the biggest it's done is, or the biggest it's ever done is 51 pounds, so mental. But yeah, I believe that as a mid 40, maybe a little bit bigger. But yeah, ain't done too bad. After then, I've had a couple of mid 20s, upper doubles. But yeah, like I say, I've had 11 this season, and I think I've lost 3, which is my season's done really. So yeah, that pretty much brings us up to speed with this session. So we've got 2 more nights left, so hopefully we can bag one for the camera.
Yeah, so yeah, really well done to Kieran. He's had a mega season so far. You're probably not far off top rod, I reckon. I think there's a couple of people that have had a few more than you, but no, that's yeah, mega result. So that pretty much brings us up to speed with where we are today. If we get anything tonight, then obviously we'll get the cameras out, but if not, we will catch up with you in the morning. See you soon. Good morning. It's now about 9:30, 9:45, and bite time's pretty much slipped away now. Not really much to report from last night. Kieran did have, or he did get wiped out by a swan. That was just after dark, and just before dark, the occurrence on my left rod, bobbin pulled up tight, went back down, and then sort of started to go back up again, and as it went back up, I picked the rod up, lifted into it, and there was just nothing there. If you look back at the video, it looks just like a bream bite really, but there isn't actually any bream in here, so I'm not really sure what it was. Could have been a tower, but when I brought the rig back in, nothing had touched it. The rigs that I'm using, you can tell if anything's picked it up because the silicone on the hook moves. But yeah, like I said, it was untouched, so no idea what that was. I thought I was in. But yeah, I'll show you the bite now. Yeah, I thought I was away, and that's pretty much it really. I think from last night, they weren't showing anything like they were the first night that we got here. First night they were putting on a hell of a show, but last night I think I heard maybe 2 fish through the night in the dark, and that was about it. I did have one show of my left rod about half an hour ago, and then it went down and started fizzing up, started rubbing my hands together. I thought that was sort of set for a bite, but nothing materialised. That pretty much brings us up to speed with where we are now. I reckon I'm going to give it till about 11 o'clock. Bite time tends to be up until about 10, maybe just after, and that's when a lot of the bites have been coming recently. And then there's sort of an early evening bite time as well, sort of around 6 o'clock. I think the guy that was in this peg a couple of days ago, he had a bite at 6. So I'm probably going to reel in, yeah, about 11, 12 o'clock, go and see Kieran, get some filming done, and then I'll look to get back round here, get my rods out for sort of 4, 5 o'clock, so they're sitting ready for bite time. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. We'll catch you a bit later. All right, I just thought I'd quickly take you through the bait that we've been using. Me and Kieran are using pretty much the same thing, on the same spod mix anyway. So I've got about 2.5 kilos of carbon bait, hemp and maize, and then in there I've put a decent handful of Himalayan salt, and then probably 1.5 kilos of crumbed up creamino from Baitworks, probably half a bottle of the matching glug, and then probably just under half a bottle of the sweet cream oil as well. Give that a good mix up, and that's what we've been putting out over the baited areas. Hasn't worked so far, but yeah, that's pretty much what we're using. We're using matching pop-ups over the top, or the criticals as well. The criticals are awesome. Good afternoon. It's now just before 4 o'clock. Had a bit of a result earlier. Got to about 12 o'clock and me and Kieran were thinking about reeling in and sort of going for a wander. I'm going to go and have a walk around Bob's Knee, the lake next door. Well, I haven't actually been round there since I've been a member on this lake. But just before Kieran got here, I had a bit of an occurrence on my right rod when my bobbin pulled up to the top and just stayed there. I left it for sort of a couple of minutes and it didn't drop back down again. My rod wasn't twitching or anything. So I slackened my line back off, and then when Kieran got her, he said that a lot of his bites have been quite twitchy like that. So I left it about sort of 10 or 15 minutes. We had a cup of tea and some grub, and then I lifted the rod up, kind of tightened the line a bit, and I could feel something kind of twitching on the end. So I lifted into it, and yeah, there was a fish on the end. As soon as I connected with it, it went absolutely mental up that margin. I did get some footage of it, but I think the battery died kind of halfway through the fight, so I'll slip the footage that I got in here now. All right, I don't know how much of that you saw. When we looked back at the camera, the battery had died. But yeah, basically, got one in the net. Looks to be about, I don't know, upper double, maybe a scraper 20. But yeah, happy days. All right, here we go. 20 pound 4. Came on the right rod, about 6 bombs and about 20 baits catapulted over the top. Do well. Off the mark, saves a blank. Clean little fish. All right, let's get her back. Yeah, so that's a good result. Well chuffed to get off the mark with a 20. Clean little fish. So yeah, after that, got all the rods in, and Kieran and I went for a wander around Bob's Knee. We got back about 2:30, and as I got back, there was one show over my left spot. So rather than go round and do a bit of filming in Kieran's swim, Yeah, the weather didn't look particularly brilliant anyway. So I've got my rods back out, got my left rod out first. That took a couple of casts, but yeah, second cast, got it on the money. Slight change of plan with that rod. I was fishing it with a Match the Hatch pop-up, Creamino pop-up, but I've gone with a scent from Hale White because I've seen fish show on that spot today and fizz up, and I do feel like I should have had a bite. So yeah, slight change of tactic. Got a bit of PVA string from the ring swivel to the bend, to the barb of the hook, just to keep the bend in the chod and to sort of help prevent tangles as well. Other two rods are pretty much where I was fishing yesterday. I haven't moved them, same tactics as yesterday. I haven't actually put any more bait out. I thought if I put any bait out now I could ruin my chances of getting sort of an early evening bite, so yeah, I haven't topped the swim up at all. Kieran's rods are all back out now as well. Like I said, I think it's about 4 o'clock. Bite time is usually about sort of 5 to 6 o'clock, so this rain is looking, yeah, looks bang on for a bite. I think we've got this rain for, I think it's till the early hours of the morning, so I think that's pretty much up to date with where we are now. So if anything happens, we'll get the camera back out and hopefully we'll see you soon. Catch you in a bit. Good morning, it's now about 20 past 7. Last knockings now, rods are on the deck, all the gear's on the barra. I've got about another 5-10 minutes before we've got to reel in and head off home. But nothing happened last night. There was a few fish showing sort of in the area in the zone where I put the bait, but yeah, it just didn't materialise. Kieran hasn't had nothing either over in bench. But rods are on the deck, if you can see them just down there. So yeah, about another 5-10 minutes and I'll be off. So that's it for this video. Hope you liked it. If you did, hit that thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. Thanks to everyone who has subscribed to the channel. We really appreciate it. And yeah, we'll see you in the next video. Tight lines.